Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meow Mix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we're here to talk mainly Cowboys, Panthers. Well, not mainly, but
Beat them Cowboys!
Eventually Cowboys, yes. We're going to take down them boys. Y'all still them boys? No, they're not them boys anymore. They kind of suck.
They suck.
They suck. They're what, 5-8?
Something like
5-9? Yeah, I know they've got 5 wins. So, a couple of wins more than us. But spoiler alert, the Panthers favored for the first time in over 2 years. So, somebody thinks the Panthers are a better team. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit. How's it going, Jerry?
It's going well. I'm going well. I'm very excited. Christmas is around the corner. Hopefully we get to watch the Panthers beat up on the Cowboys and hear Cowboys fans cry. But hey,
it'll be a nice early Christmas gift, right?
Exactly. The Carolina Reaper may strike again. I could see Mike McCarthy getting axed if they lose.
That is true. That's actually a good one. That could very well happen. I think he's on his way out for sure.
Just,
will it be during the season or after the season? I don't know if Jerry Jones. I think he's fired coaches in mid-season before.
I do too. I mean, Jerry Jones.
You got beat by them Panthers there. We'll fire you. That was a terrible Jerry Jones impression. But holidays coming up, right?
You're not drunk trying to grow up college girls or anything like that?
No, not today. Not today. No, not my style. Maybe 20 years ago. But anyway, Christmas coming up. We got to talk about our Christmas episode.
Yeah.
That I guess we'll have to do next week?
We'll probably record after the Panthers beat the Cowboys, hopefully, and then we'll have to knock something out on Monday or Tuesday, probably, because Christmas is right there.
Well, Christmas is 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My apologies.
Yeah. So, we'll either do our Christmas episode next week or we'll do it that Monday, Tuesday of the following week. But either way, I was listening to Dave Canales' press conference Monday. So the day after the game, after he's had a chance to watch tape and everything. And by the way, he did confirm that Jonathan Brooks tore his ACL, which is a real bummer. He was asked about, did they rush him back? Blah, blah, blah. And it didn't seem like they rushed him back. They seemed like they were pretty careful with him in terms of him coming back and, really ramping him up slowly, especially with Chuba, having such a good season. There was no reason to bring him back. And he had a handful of snaps again, or a handful of carries or touches per game anyway. Didn't seem like they were overloading him, right?
No, I felt like they were trying to be cautious with him. It's just unfortunate thing that happened. I mean, I worry about his future just because 2 ACLs like that back-to-back years. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen that kind of thing derail running backs, especially before. We've also seen, Thomas Davis, a great example of a guy who went through multiple surgeries and was able to come back and still play at a very high level. So, it's not a death knell necessarily for him, but certainly something that he will have to manage and hopefully he's able to come back. But, I've seen a lot of fans basically saying, that he should have played it all this year. Why did they feel like he had to play this year? And of course, other fans saying it was a stupid draft pick to begin with, which that's, I think there's a conversation there. But in terms of not playing him at all this year, I think that's kind of dumb. Like, you draft him in the second round. He's healthy. You're getting, the doctors are saying he's okay. He's a playmaker. You want to see him out there, right?
Yeah, you drafted him. If doctors are clearing him, he says he feels good. I mean, we saw him last week break off a couple, or 2 weeks ago, Yeah. Again, I don't feel like they rushed him back. I felt like they were very cautious with him. They waited till last minute to activate him. Now, if we come to find out that, hey, it was, they rushed him back, but from outside looking in, they gave him a full year to heal. So it wasn't like they really So
it seems likely he will not play next year, though. Like it's likely 2026 before we see him again, right? I mean, kind of late in the season here, he gets an ACL. They're certainly going to be extra careful with him. But I mean, at that point, he's already year 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, like what?
Do you have to go draft another running back? I mean, spoiler alert, we're bumping up Mike Boone, which good for him. I mean, sticking around, practice squad and stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, the good thing about running backs being, you know, severely undervalued is you can get one in the free agency market for pretty cheap. Yeah. So I don't think that they will spend another draft pick.
Unless it's like a 5th or 6th. I mean,
sure, a late rounder.
Some of those guys can pan out too. Decently.
Absolutely, they do all the time. Yeah, I mean, the NFL's littered with undrafted or late round running backs who turn into something special. So, yeah, but it is a bummer for Jonathan Brooks. I mean, I don't think we've seen the last of him in a Carolina Panthers uniform by any stretch, but I do think that his road back is going to be tough. Right, especially for like big playing time. So that was the first thing that caught my ear from the press conference. The second thing that caught my ear, I'm going to go ahead and try and play this. So we tested it before, it worked. So we'll see if it works this time. But this is a question from, I think it's Joe Person. I'm not 100% sure. Just basically asking about Andy Dalton's car accident and what the timetable was for Bryce and all that. So I'll go ahead and play this now. Pardon the keyboard clicks. This is not my audio.
And Andy and I had the thumb injury in the car accident.
Yeah.
What was the plan at that point? When were you going to get another look at Bryce?
Yeah, it would have been really interesting, you know, and fortunately we got the opportunity. Bryce got the opportunity that he did, you know, and on the other side of it, you know, like I was pulling for Andy at the time too, you know, who was, you know, building some weeks. He had a couple of rough weeks and was like, okay, here we go. Let's get this thing back on track, you know, and so it's 2 stories, you know, and that's life. And Bryce made the most of his opportunities, and here we are, you know, just with the weekly growth, and took another step.
Okay. So that to me sounds like they didn't have any plan to bring Bryce back anytime soon.
Oh, not anytime soon. And you could kind of tell, I hate saying it, but you could kind of tell the game plan that first week he was back. It was very, very conservative and vanilla, and really protected Bryce.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really understand why they wouldn't bring Bryce back sooner. I mean, or even, I mean, Canales, to say it like that, it seems like maybe he was done with Bryce. Maybe he just had no faith that Bryce was ever going to play. They didn't trade him, right? They could have traded him. They didn't trade him, but the rumors were there. Like, they were taking calls. They obviously just didn't get anything where they thought the return was good enough, but I think there's a very realistic scenario where, had Andy Dalton not got in that car accident, we never see Bryce again as a Panthers quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. I mean, I think, you know, it may be just the luck. The Panthers, that Andy Dalton got in a small accident. He showed something that first game, and I feel like the second game that he started was definitely them letting him play a little bit more. Like, hey, he played well. Let's see where we're going. And then it's been continuing to grow ever since.
It was kind of really good timing for Bryce, honestly. You know, you get a couple of weeks before the bye, and then, you know, he shows something, right? Like you said, wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination, but he made some good plays. The offense, like you said, was certainly not like what we've seen recently. It was way more vanilla. But then they had the bye week. He gets to work on some things, watch a lot of tape. You know, you kind of see the confidence. And then he comes out and just looks great these last 3 games. He's looked excellent. Mm-hmm. But I think, you know, there's and you mentioned luck, right? Did we finally get some good luck as a franchise here?
Honestly, I was thinking about this earlier. I think we did in a few different scenarios. I think that accident, Deshaun Watson turning us down, we got lucky there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a few things that I feel like we're getting a little bit. The Panthers have gotten a little luck, like Jalen Coker. I don't want to say it's not, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He became undrafted. He decided to come here because he saw an opportunity. He made the best of it, but it's a little bit of luck of him falling undrafted and us signing him.
Yeah. I mean, for all the bad luck it seems like we've had as a franchise and all the bad decisions that were made as a franchise. And hey, I'll be the first to say, week 3 of this year or week 2 of this year, I thought that we had made one of the worst decisions in the history of the franchise by drafting Bryce.
Oh yeah.
By trading what we did, and Caleb looking pretty good the first few weeks for the Bears. Like it was really bad. I mean, it's the way we feel now is so far apart from where we were early in this season. It's almost unbelievable, and I struggle to even think of something comparable to this, where this guy, the fan base is just completely out on this guy. Most of the fan base, some of the fan base, certainly, thought he still held value. Some of the fan base, delusionally, go ahead.
I held out hope. That being said, I definitely was in the same boat of feeling completely depressed about the pick, about the way he was playing. I just was like, oh my God. When I went on board the Bryce train, I was assuming he would look not Alabama good, because college is different.
It's not right away, yeah.
Yeah, but I was expecting his second and third week starting the second time. I was expecting to see that from him a little bit before, and I didn't. And now I'm seeing the Bryce I was expecting his rookie season.
Yeah, I mean, I was completely out, honestly. Like, I was like, let's look at Andy. Maybe Andy Dalton will be our quarterback for the next 3 or 4 years. Like, he's not that old. But then Andy started playing kind of poorly. You get the bump from him coming in as the backup quarterback for that first week for sure. And then his second week was okay, but you could kind of see defenses were, starting to kind of figure him out. And then, those next few games, he just didn't look good at all. And the Panthers didn't look good at all. But this is sort of just really, the question has to be asked here. Did Andy Dalton's car accident change the fortunes of this Panthers franchise to where, it's kind of crazy, right? Like, this little thing that happened.
And it wasn't even like a dramatic
right.
car accident.
It wasn't a Cam car accident where, the thing's flipping and he's breaking his back. Like, it was a little thumb injury.
Yeah.
What a great story though for Bryce if he does end up continuing to progress, just getting that last chance, maybe, right? That last opportunity with the franchise that drafted him.
I have a
and then
feeling,
he goes on and plays 15 years for us.
As much as that comment from Canales makes it seem like he had no play, I think he would have played him a little bit more towards the end of the season, even if, because Andy was falling apart too. We were back to looking awful, and it was just like, oh. But now we're not. But I think eventually he would have let Bryce.
But why wouldn't he say that? Why wouldn't he say that? Why wouldn't he say, it would have depended on kind of the way the season went, and maybe we were looking after the bye week or something like that? Why wouldn't he say that instead of, oh, it's interesting? Yeah, what a crazy thing that happened. Like, I find it, to me, it sounded like he just had no plan on playing Bryce again. And maybe you're right. Maybe the way things fall, right? Maybe the Panthers lose 6, 7, 8, 10 games in a row, and week 17 or weeks 15, 16, 17, Bryce comes back. But at that point, does Bryce look like he looks now?
No, I don't think he does. That's the strangest part of this whole weird twist of fate. That I don't know if he would, because you don't know if he would have broken that spirit he had. And you could definitely tell his spirit's back. Watching him play, he's led, 4 fourth quarter comebacks in a row? They didn't win them all because, the defense is awful. But he did it. And Xavier Legette dropped a surefire touchdown.
Xavier Legette's cost us at least one of those games. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, it's really interesting, and it's a good thought experiment. But I mean, what do we do like in the draft next year? Like just things.
Oh, definitely.
Things are kind of falling into place because of this one incident. And yeah, I just found that comment to be really interesting. It started making me think, and maybe I overthought it. I don't know, but I think it was a good conversation, if nothing else, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: like all the draft, like mock draft stuff, always shows us needing a QB, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty old because I have a feeling we're not going quarterback anytime soon. Or at least not next year.
And I'm still seeing a lot of, even more recent, power rankings, articles, things like that, just basically saying that Bryce has earned the ability to compete next year for the starting role. I mean, if he continues to play like this for the rest of this season, there's no competing. Like, he is the guy, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to think of the past. I am on PFF. Give me a second. I will pull up his game-by-game stats because he has really come on the past few games. That has been really impressive.
Yeah, I know he was in the top 5 for our team at least a couple of weeks out of the last 3. But I mean, just watching, like even ignoring the grades, right? Just watching and seeing how the team overall, just the points we're putting up, like the able to move the ball, third down conversions going up, like everything has looked better with him. Especially these last 3 games. You know, and we've got the Cowboys coming up. That's a beatable team. Like, I'm really excited to watch him in that game.
Yeah. You could tell week 8 against Denver, he threw for 224, 65% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not great. Then he played the really good, solid, like very ho-hum game against New Orleans at 171, 1-1. And then the reins were still on there. 126, completing only 60%, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions against the Giants. And then Kansas City, 263, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. 298 against Tampa, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Philly, 191. He only threw 191, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's been really getting... Yeah.
And again, that Philly game, like, had Legette caught that thing, then you're looking at, 230, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Like, that one play just makes it look completely different, right?
Really?
But again, we watched the games. Like, the stats really don't even show how good he's been because there have been so many drops. His completion percentage should probably be at least 5-6% higher just because of the drops.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also been without Coker, who arguably is the number 2 receiver on the team.
He has probably the second best hands to Adam Thielen, on the team. David Moore has dropped multiple passes. Legette, we've already discussed. Just still looking here. First week against New Orleans, he had 161 yards, 43% completion percentage, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Then the Chargers, 84 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception.
84 yards.
84 yards on 18 completions.
Now, the Chargers are good, and that was the thing, right? You could tell those first couple of weeks, they weren't letting him play. No. He was in a box. They were like, you throw within the 10-yard line, and that's it. Or his confidence was so shot.
I think it was that, to be honest with you.
It could be. But so much has changed. I mean, it's night and day, and we're getting national recognition now. We got Greg Olson is going to be our commentator this week against the Cowboys.
Well, that's because it's the Cowboys. They get much love.
It might be, but if this was a 1-12 Panthers team or whatever the record would be, I don't know that they get the number 2 crew, even if it is the Cowboys. I don't know that they get that, but either way, it's just what a story. And if it continues, if he continues to progress, if he continues to play, even if he just plays as well as he's played the last 3 games for the rest of this season, has the full off season with this group, with Canales, next year is really could be something special.
I agree.
Right?
But one thing I have noticed in the past few weeks against the really good defenses in Philly, Tampa Bay, and Kansas City,
KC.
Guys are wide open. There's multiple times guys are wide open. And yes, Bryce is finding them and throwing them a good ball, but it's something that I have not seen this Panther organization have in almost forever. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, even when Cam, most of those seem like contested catches. Or am I just...
I mean, look at who Cam was throwing to most of the time. You know, these just, you know, 3 and 4, number 3, number 4 receivers on most teams, you know, are his top 2 receivers here. But yeah, I mean, Canales is doing some really good scheming. We've got speed. You know, Leggett is fast. Sanders is fast. And, you know, Coker, Thielen have great hands. And Bryce is throwing with such anticipation that he is, you know, as long as everybody hits their spots, they're going to have an opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. It's just really, it's almost unbelievable.
Yeah,
change.
It's really unbelievable. We're glowingly talking about a 3-win team right now, but
yeah, right. A 3-win team that we should be a 5-win team, though, Jerry. We should be a 5-win.
100%, we should be a 5-win team.
Oh well, yeah. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. If this car accident that Andy Dalton had, you know, has it changed the Panthers' fortunes in such a way where, you know, now things are only looking up? Like, just let us know what you guys think. But any other kind of thoughts there, or any other news or anything you want to talk about before we jump into this game preview?
No, the Panthers signed a kick returner to fill in for Blackshear. Right. So it doesn't sound like Blackshear's going to go. Like I said, Mike Boone has been promoted to the active roster, I believe, or will be. So he'll be our backup running back. So expect a lot of Chuba. And I'll talk about that when we go over the game. But sorry, just little tidbits.
Well, let's go ahead and kick it off with the injury reports. This is Thursday, so we do have 2, for the Panthers at least, we have 2 injury reports to look at, or 2 days of injury reports. For the Cowboys, just 1, but we'll go ahead and go through it here. Bunch of guys DNP yesterday that were practicing today. So Chuba, Jadeveon Clowney, full practice today. That's good to hear. Blackshear DNP yesterday, limited practice today, so he is progressing. Trevin Wallace DNP yesterday, DNP today. A'Shawn Robinson DNP yesterday, full practice today. So Robinson, Chuba, and Jadeveon were all listed as non-injury related and rest. So that's good.
Yeah, Chuba's going to need it for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I'm surprised they didn't rest him today, too. The rest of the next few of these guys are limited practice, both days of practice. Josie Jewell, J.C. Horn. Good to see that he's practicing at least, right? Even in a limited capacity. DJ Wanham with a knee. Lonnie Johnson. So those all listed as limited practice. And then we've got Jalen Coker, Caleb Farley, and Nick Scott all listed as full practice. And then Taylor Moton DNP today, but listed as rest. So he was not on the injury report yesterday. For the Cowboys, Cooper Beebe, DNP. Eric Kendricks, DeMarvion Overshone. Lord. DeMarvion Overshone, linebacker, DNP. Juwane Thomas, DNP. Nick Vigil, DNP. Trevon Diggs, CJ Goodwin, CeeDee Lamb, Jordan Lewis, all listed as limited practice. Now, CeeDee Lamb, he's been dealing with a shoulder injury for several weeks now, so I wouldn't get too excited about him not playing. Deron Bland, Rico Dowdle, Tyler Guyton, Marshawn Nealon, and Tyler Smith all listed as full practice participants. So, I don't know that any of those guys are critical. You know, any of the guys that DNP anyway are critical to the operation there. But for the Panthers, I mean, you know, nobody other than, like, let's say J.C. Horn. Like,
I think J.C. Horn and DJ Wanham and I said only, but
Yeah.
Also,
I assume one of them will play. I'm just assuming he'll play.
yeah.
But
and
I
Josie
hope he
Jewell.
will.
I think those are some big names, especially on defense, that we need to play because they play better when they're out there. Especially J.C. Horn against CeeDee Lamb will be fun.
Josie, he's been on the injury report since he came back, right? Like he's been just.
No,
I think
he's
they're
been
just
off and
kinda,
on.
Okay, I'm hoping that they're just kind of being careful with him and want him. We'll see tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be the big day, obviously, right? If those guys are listed as full participants, then we're good. If they're limited again, then probably going to be questionable going into the game. But those are the injury reports. Jerry, should we try and think about the children?
Gambling for the children.
Just real quick. So any proceeds that we make this season are going to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So far, I think we're around $150.
146. We didn't bet a lot last week.
Okay.
Right now, Dallas is the underdog. That's right. Coming to Carolina, 3-point dogs to your Carolina Panthers. So
Unbelievable.
The over-under is set at 43 points. So there's that.
Seems low.
Seems low, especially because neither one have a great defense right now.
Right. And the Panthers have been putting up points. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys seem to always put up points. Can we just say 1 second, though? Like, it's been 33 games, I think I saw, since the Panthers have been favored.
I mean,
33 games.
I'm not surprised.
That's terrible franchise stuff. Like, we should be celebrating this. This is awesome.
Especially against the Cowboys. I'm kind of shocked because I think it opened as the Panthers were favored by like 1, and money's coming in on 3. Usually it's the other way around where money comes in on Dallas midweek.
I was like waiting for the Panthers to be underdogs because I was like, all right, once they get like +1 or +2, I'll put some money down. But they just keep going up. Like, there's a lot of confidence in the Panthers right now.
Yeah. So, like I said, I like the -3. I think the Panthers will actually win this game, and I think they'll win pretty significantly. But I'm going to go ahead and look through some other things here. Passing yards for Bryce, nothing's really jumping out at me because Dallas has a really bad run defense as well as Carolina, so I think that's where we always tend to go. The 200
you have to get to 225 to even get plus
anything.
Odds. So I don't love that.
That's where I was going with that. So the player I worry about on Dallas's team is Rico Dowdle. He's played very good this year. He's the lone bright spot, I would say, for their season. But I mean, you have to get it to 90 plus to get a good odds there at 105. It honestly, against our defense, probably will. But
maybe.
But Chuba has better odds at 90 plus, and they are not good on defense. They are ranked 31 against the run. They give up like 140 something yards per game. You know where I like.
That's weird. So Rico Dowdle, like, he's been good lately, but he started off the season pretty bad, and I think that might have just been because he was splitting carries with the terrible Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes, I think that's 100% what it was.
Yeah, because I know you have him on your fantasy team now. I had him when we started the season, and I dropped him because he was just so bad. But it's kind of weird that Chuba has
better
odds. Yeah. I like the rushing. So you're looking at 90 plus for Chuba at 120 plus 120.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at it on my phone too because sometimes I can't do it on my app. So.
Bryce is plus 240 for 25 plus rushing yards.
Let me see that one. Oh,
that's a little interesting to me because he's been running quite a bit more lately.
Yeah. Would you want to do some crazy parlays here?
Ooh, I don't know if I want to parlay Bryce's rushing yards with anything, but I wouldn't mind parlaying Chuba rushing with maybe the over.
Over, not the Panthers by 3.
Panthers by. I feel like it's going to be a close game because every game the Panthers have played lately have been close. But I do think that the over is. I feel really good about that over, honestly.
Okay, I could deal with that.
And the odds are about the same for the over and the plus or the -3. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what it would have to be probably like plus 180 or something for the parlay.
Give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up right now, sir.
Yeah, while you're doing that, we'll look at a couple of other odds here. Bryce passing touchdowns. 2+ is plus 150. 1+ is -370. That I don't know about that. He's been throwing 1 touchdown lately a lot. Chuba as the first scorer is plus 390. I feel like that's so dependent on who gets the ball first.
Whoa, one of my the rushing just went away on DraftKings.
Did it?
Yeah, I was pulling it up. But if it comes back,
well,
I think that's what we should do, and then maybe do a
It will come
$5
back eventually.
side bet to Bryce over 25. 10 on the parlay and 5 on Bryce.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I kind of agree. It's more than likely he's going to get it, but if they keep him in check, then I don't want to ruin the $30-something or $40 we're about to win for.
Sure.
So.
Agree. All right, cool. I like that. Okay, well let's chat a couple minutes here about the actual game itself. I don't know, man. Like Cooper Rush doesn't really scare me. He's played okay. I think his last game against Cincy. I mean, I watched most of that game. He was all right. A couple touchdowns, 1 interception. Yeah. Well, he had a good game against Washington. He was 24-32, 247, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So I think that was his best game. But the thing is, their offensive line is not nearly as good as it has been in past years.
Mm-mm.
And the way that our pass rush has been the last few games, like I feel like if we can get to him, then we can really put this game away. Like Houston sacked him 5 times. He threw the ball 55 times in that game, and they scored 10 points.
Yeah, they have been not being able to protect their quarterback. I mean, Dak Prescott's got... And you're right, Cooper Rush, I'm sorry, but Cooper Rush has nothing. Nothing in the bag for me. So...
Yeah, I don't find him to be that scary. Rico Dowdle, he's got something there. Chuba, obviously, I think is a much better running back than Rico Dowdle. But against the Panthers, I could easily see him rushing for over 100 yards. Easily, unfortunately. And then, really we'll hope that J.C. Horn is able to come back and play against CeeDee Lamb, because outside of CeeDee Lamb, I mean, Jalen Tolbert, Brandon Cooks, Jonathan Mingo is like a backup for them. We might see a little bit of Mingo.
I do not fear this Dallas team at all. Granted, we're
Famous
the Panthers
last
and
words,
we have 3 wins, but nobody after going through the gauntlet of Kansas City, Tampa Bay, and Philadelphia, we should beat them. The way this team has been played, they should beat them. Their defense has been subpar this year. I'm pulling up this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm usually better off having my stats and stuff up.
That's all right.
But I mean, again, they're 31 in run defense. Overall defense, they are sitting at 25, giving up 365 a game. I mean,
I guess their pass defense is pretty decent.
Yeah, when you run on a team, you don't have to pass that much.
Yeah, true.
That's why I'm so shocked so many teams are trying to throw on us. I'm like, I would just run the ball 80% of the time. They can't stop you.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be right back.
And we're back. Okay. So, I mean, again, this defense is bad on the Dallas' team. The Carolina's bad too. Let's not sugarcoat that. Carolina's giving up 29 points per game. It's getting better the past few games, but Dallas is giving up 28.2. So it's not like they're world beaters.
Yeah, and the Panthers pass rush has gotten so much better since the bye week. Since DJ Wanham and Josie Jewell have come back. Like I feel like our defense is kind of, we're still giving up a lot of points, unfortunately. But I feel better about our defense for sure than I did, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Right. So I think certainly we can keep Cooper Rush in check.
Mm-hmm.
Can we keep their running backs in check? I don't know, but
I think it's not keep them in check. It's to slow them down. That's what I think this team needs to do. Just slow them down.
Yeah.
Let it come to them, and that's how you beat them, in my opinion. You run. Here's a big thing: Canales, run, Chuba more. Like this.
Yes.
Last week was good. I saw you start really focusing in on it. This week, do the same thing. I mean, they are not a good run defense. Chuba is explosive. He's good. I know you're going to have to rest him some because there's no one behind him, but I want to see Chuba to get 20 to 25 rushes this game, if not more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think 20 should be the absolute minimum. You want to, against any team, you want to control the clock. You want to control the ball, keep their offense off the field. This is a team, as you said, you can run on. We have a very good running game right now. Let's just do that. Like, I know Canales, he's a quarterback guy. Like, he wants to throw the ball. And there will be opportunities to throw, but everything needs to be set up in this game, especially with the run. I do worry a little bit special teams wise. Like, Turpin is an excellent returner. He is electric. Our special teams has been okay, but if I were like punting or something, I would just keep it away from that guy.
My biggest fear is Micah Parsons.
Mm.
As well as our O-line has been playing this year, that guy is a freak of nature, and run straight out of him and try to get him off his game. If you can run at him, make him hesitate a little bit, I think that would be good. I mean, I could say that easily, but most people can't do that. So,
yeah, he's not having certainly his best season. He's got like 6.5 sacks. So that's, not great, but he's one of those guys that could very easily pop off for 4 in one game. Right.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a menace. The good news is our offensive line is really good.
Yeah.
And I think the schemes, like they're going to be able to scheme around him and keep him kind of in check. If I had to guess, I would say Bryce gets sacked one time in this game.
I would love that.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it's been, right? Like he's if he gets sacked, it's once. He's been really good at avoiding it. He's got that QB sense, right? That seems to be working really well right now. He'll watch a ton of tape. Yeah, I feel unrealistically good about this game for the Panthers.
Me
like
too.
I so don't want to get hurt by them putting up a stinker, which I feel like,
it's destined, doesn't it? It feels like
it almost feels possible, but I really, really hope that they can continue this streak that they've been on and really for Bryce especially, like just let me see Bryce have a really good game. Just take care of the ball. Don't try to play outside of yourself. Give me 25 plus rushing yards. Right?
Yeah.
But let's just beat the damn Cowboys. Like, God, send them home crying.
I would love it. Love it.
Yeah.
I also want to see JT Sanders get a couple targets this week. Hopefully he doesn't have the yips from that injury, which was scary. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that, but he was playing really well right before that injury, and I felt like he just got it. Like he was about to have his best game when that injury occurred. So I'd like to see him get a couple sparks back in him.
Not on the injury report, so that's the good news. Like he's obviously feeling back to 100% or as close to it as you can be at this point in the season. But yeah, I mean, he had an opportunity for one last week that he just sort of, for some reason, he started running backwards instead of continuing up his route. So I'm sure he will be talked to about that. Because had he kept running, I mean, that's a really long completion for him. But that's the kind of plays that you get when he's in there, right?
You had that potential.
He's such a mismatch as a tight end. with his speed and size, ability to go up and get the ball. This guy is just going to be really good for years to come. I'm really excited about him as well. Just a killer draft, honestly. Just a really good draft, really good free agency from Dan Morgan. I don't know, man. Things are looking up.
Things are looking up, man. Yeah, hats off to Dan Morgan. I wasn't the happiest of bringing him back since he was the assistant GM, but one offseason, I will say that I'm on board. He did, his philosophy has worked. I see the path to the playoffs, to a better Panthers team now.
Now, we talked about it before, bringing he and Canales, having that history. They know each other. They know what works. Dan Morgan knows what kind of players Dave likes. He knows his schemes. Like, I don't think you can undersell how important that is. And it's working right now. And I hope it works for the next 15, 20 years. Like, this could be the start of something really special. If Bryce continues to play well and develop like that, that's kind of where everything hinges, right? It's on Bryce's development. So we'll see. But all right, you want to do some predictions for the game here?
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's go bold predictions. I'm going to make you go first.
Oh, my bold prediction. I didn't have one prepared.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
My bold prediction is that Bryce Young runs for 26 yards. Just kidding. My bold prediction is a return of Jalen Coker. Mm-hmm. Bryce will throw for 300 yards in this game. As much as I would rather see Chuba rush for 150, a few big plays here and there, and I think Bryce has got 300. So I'm going for 300 for Bryce.
Nice. I like that. I'm going to go Mike McCarthy fired after this game. Is that bold?
That is bold. I like that.
Okay. I was going to say, because I was already on that bandwagon thinking that anyway, so I'm just going to call that my bold prediction. Mike McCarthy gets canned after this game.
I like that.
Dallas,
we don't ever revisit these anyway, so it's not like we'll have to wait until Wednesday to talk about it.
Dallas Airport, he gets fired on the tarmac. Not really. I'm not calling it that specific, but
that's a good one. All right. Game prediction. This time you will go first.
32-17 Panthers. I don't know why.
Wow.
And it's probably just because I'm feeling good right now, and we have never been favored in 33 games, so let's go with it. Let's roll it.
All right. That's a lot. That's a lot of points. I'm going to go a little more conservative and say 27-24. No, I'm going to go 27-21 Panthers. 27-21 Panthers. I think they will cover. All right. Well, any final thoughts here, Jerry?
Let's beat them Cowboys!
I think that'll do it.
We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter @MeowMixPodcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
We'll be back hopefully on Sunday after the game. We'll be back on Sunday after the game. And until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.